Speaking of Candace Owens, let's bring her up.
Goddamn.
She's gone full Hitler on us. I think beforehand,
a lot of people have.
Beforehand, it was a little measured. I was a little bit okay with some of her commentary. Now she's just outright lying to the 100th degree, just making up facts when it comes to this. Am I too loud? That's why you took your headphones out?
Yeah, it's getting a little loud. It's getting a little
but
overstimulating.
No, it's getting crazy now. She did like 2 spaces now. She's trying to get into my territory. I don't like when all these Republicans get into the space wars now. But
well, yeah, Elon Musk is the owner of Twitter now, so that's where he wants all them people there.
He's been bringing them out. So he's got her. Who else? She's interviewed both the Tate brothers. She did 2 different interviews with the Tate brothers where they discussed a lot of this in depth. And then even Dan Bilzar, he used to be my man's back in the day because I thought he was just about getting on the women. Now he done went full anti-Semitic to the point where, like, okay, so just to kind of break
he was
down.
like, I was fine with the nigga when he was just misogynist. Now he's a misogynist and an anti-Semite, and I can't fuck.
I
with
can't
it.
bang with both of those. So like, okay, this is where it gets.
I hate this nigga.
This is where it gets weird at, like, because okay, what she was kind of just saying in one of her first videos where she was like, oh, the Jewish are like, you know, assisting these pedophile elites, you know, that's been part of their like history. She convolutes so much shit.
Once I got into that part of TikTok, I was like, I have to back off.
But once you do a little bit of research on it, you see that she's just convoluting stories.
Yeah.
Like, so what she kind of said was like, she talked about Sigmund Freud, right? So first thing about Sigmund Freud, everybody knows all of his shit has been debunked. Like, for the most part, no one takes him serious. But she says his tool.
Sigmund Freud was because I did take some. Sigmund Freud was the one that was like, you want to fuck your daddy and you want to fuck your mama.
Yeah, the Odysseus complex.
Yeah,
I think that's Odysseus, right? I could have said that totally wrong.
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah, it's not Odysseus. It's
Oedipus.
Oedipus
Complex. But no, yeah, he did the theory of the Oedipus complex and all that shit. But like what she tried to say is like the reason why he had all. Basically, she said the fact that he thought the way he thought should be a clue to why he was in line with the pedophiles. I hate that because now you're just like criticizing people for thinking out of the box, which you try to say you're always for. But then she's like, he was trying to protect men who were like doing stuff to their daughters, who were coming in and saying like their parents have, you know, assaulted them or their dad assaulted them. And
Sigmund Freud's theories didn't do that.
Well, she was trying to say that basically that's the reason why he created a lot of his theories was to clean up the actions that were going on in the Jewish community.
Okay.
And to try to be like telling the women like, oh no, you just want to have sex with your dad because of the Oedipus complex and all that kind of stuff. The reverse. Because there's an opposite for it. It's a women version of it too. But like I said, she's convoluting shit. That's
like, I never understood like his theories to be like, you want to fuck your dad.
Then she like talks about the fact that like people have, you know, broke down some of his letters, and he has this one letter to this one guy. I think his name was like Wilford something or whatever. And it was like real best buddies, always like exchanging information. They had very like raw conversations with each other. And one of the dudes who was at Harvard, he was studied German and was able to translate some of the letters in a way that people weren't translating before. But it talked about some of his sexual proclivities. And she tried to say like, oh, he was into like sleeping with young girls and all the other stuff. I couldn't find anything when I was researching it. Most of the stuff I found was like he was just talking about like sexual desires and things of that nature, but nothing came up.
Which was the bulk of his work.
Yeah, but it was like nothing that came up to be like negative or pedophilic. And then also you got to take into account this nigga was doing most of this shit before the 1900s. Yeah. Like the fact that she even brings that up to say the whole pedophile shit wasn't looked at the same way then. Like
it wasn't. It didn't need justification back then.
Right. Well, for one thing, you got to take into account like he kind of started in the area of children actually being a thing. Like he was one of the first people studying that because at first children were just looked at like little adults. He was the first person to kind of link like if you have trauma as a child that could affect you sexually as an adult. Yeah. Which I mean, I don't think that's necessarily a weird theory to have, but she perverted it.
His main thing, correct me if I'm wrong, was that like the first romantic connection you have with the other sex is with your parent when you're a very young child, and then you learn as you grow up that's not a thing. But there are no sexual feelings that he said happen. It's just like
it's more like a mindset type of thing.
Yeah.
Like that's what he was trying to explain. Again, all of this shit's been debunked. But that's the stuff that he was trying to explain in his kind of early theories. But then she brings up something actually happened in Atlanta. So it was this dude named Frank Leo. Leo Frank, excuse me. His name was Leo Frank. And he was a Jewish guy that had moved to Atlanta. He was accused of killing and assaulting this 13-year-old girl. Her name was like Mary something. And you can actually look at all this stuff, like Georgia Public Broadcasting talks about all this stuff. He gets arrested. Essentially what he's an example of anti-Semitism in the South. And so he went to, that's what I'm saying. He went to jail. The governor of Georgia at the time basically was like, looked into the evidence and said he maybe felt like he didn't do it. So instead of giving him the death penalty, he gave him life in prison. That turned it up to the point that folks got upset, went into the prison, kidnapped him from the prison, and lynched this nigga. So come to find out, like one of the people.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, for real. They did. There's like pictures of it and everything.
Of
so they
course
lynched
there's
this
pictures
nigga.
of it.
But the way that she tells it, she tries to say like because his last name was Frank, he was related to this Frankist cult, which was a cult that had ties with Judaism, and they did have ancestral ties. She tried to say pedophilic. I didn't see anything about pedophilic, but I did see having ancestral ties where like there was like stuff going on with fathers and daughters and stuff like that.
You know about
but
that.
this is hey, yo, relax, my nigga. Like, relax, my nigga. But no, they was talking about that. So I did see that, but it was again. This is a lot older. She tries to like convolute all this stuff together into the fact of like Israel being a thing. Like she just like works it all into the whole. Oh, this is what they were doing to try to make Israel their pedophile ground.
They literally. So she was trying to say that they was trying to make Israel Epstein's island
Basically.
that long ago. What the fuck,
And
ma'am?
Then she
ma'am.
goes, so then once I go into it, I kind of feel conflicted about the Leo Frank thing because, like I said, a lot of people now think it was the black guy who snitched on him that killed the married girl, and I'm kind of like, yo, either way, like we got them to believe a black man on a story, or he put a bad Jew in jail. Like, you know what I'm saying? Got him lynched. Like, either way, it's kind of fly for us. So that's why I was like, when I learned about it and read about it.
Well, you change the verbiage. Not bad Jew, just bad guy.
He was a bad Jew.
Guy.
If he killed the girl?
Guy.
Okay, he was a bad guy. But we the nigga. So they can say we the raping nigga, though. Because that's what they gonna say. That's the story. If you look at modern history right now, that's who they say did it.
That's definitely what they gonna
was the
say.
Nigga who snitched on him.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, that's racist that you just put it on the black nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, where's your evidence, my nigga?
Yeah.
So again, that's why it's just I'm in a pickle. I don't know what to feel about that. But then she like goes and turns into like, oh, you know, Jewish people are going overseas and not being extradited for their crimes and their pet. And it's like that's not true. Like, we've had laws between extradition and Israel for years.
I was about to say, Israel isn't one of those countries
like,
that you can't get extradited from when you get in trouble in the United States.
Yes, you can. They will extradite you in Israel.
Well, yeah, it's not one of those states that you can't get.
Okay.
Like,
no, but yeah, they'll pull you. Like even there's been like stories and lies. It was funny. I was watching a Destiny stream.
There's probably a small list. I'm about to look it up.
I was watching a Destiny stream and they were talking about this. And they were trying to say, oh, no, there's like 60 people, then they try to say there's thousands of people who just go to Israel. But like when Destiny was breaking it down, these folks wasn't charged. They were just asked to come in for questioning and stuff like that. So it wasn't like they did anything to get extradited. Extradited is when we need to charge this person. Like we have criminal charges on this person that we need to take them to court for. Mm-hmm. And then your country gives them back, which they showed they did. They've done that to a lot of people from Israel.
You want me to read it real quick?
You can.
The United States does not have an extradition treaty with China, Indonesia, Iran, Mongolia, Russia, Taiwan. It's a long list. You know who heard? Ukraine, Vietnam, GCC states, most African states. Go to Africa, my niggas. Go to Africa. Like, go to Africa if you can get there. Soviet states, among others. Some countries with U.S. extradition treaties have refused to extradite, including Ecuador, Cuba, Bolivia, Nicaragua, Iceland, Pakistan, Egypt.
Why do you say it?
I don't know. I don't know. As soon as I said it, I was like, why is that the only one I said with an accent? Switzerland, Venezuela, Zimbabwe, etc. You said all African countries. You didn't have to put Zimbabwe. Well, Zimbabwe did like disagree specifically, even though they do have. So that's probably why they. No, but Russia, yeah, my nigga, if you do some crime and you can get to Africa,
just do it.
Yeah. First of all, the Portia.
But you have to be a citizen. If you're not a citizen, they're going to extradite you.
Well, you can't just go.
No, you got to be a citizen.
Hey, I wish Haiti.
There's some countries. There's some
not
countries
that I plan on doing any crime.
I'm sure there's some countries that won't extradite you at all. Like that's what happened with Snowden when he went to Russia. Russia was like, "No, we're not."
Russia's on the list though.
Yeah, but they won't extradite their own citizen. But they didn't extradite him either though. So
yeah, that's why I always thought that
most times
you
it's
could just go there.
Nah, most times it's citizens. Like if you're not a citizen, they'll be like, "Okay, we'll send them back to you," because they don't want you to.
Oh well, that's lit.
It just depends though. It depends on if you're a benefit to them. Like Snowden was a benefit to them because they be like, fuck you, America. Like we're not gonna let y'all spy.
I wonder what the rules are, because if I'm in one of these countries that straight up does not have extradition, could I come here, run amok, get back home, and just chill for real?
That's happened before.
That's crazy. That is literally like a glitch in the matrix. That's a glitch in the system.
That's slick. Whatchamacallit doing? What's his name? Russell Simmons. If he gets,
but he's not he's not an Indonesian.
You're right. But no, he might have a passport there though. You don't know that. We might have a passport.
Does he have like dual citizenship?
He might be.
Well, if he was a nasty nigga from jump, that would be I'm not praising him, but that would be a good plan. I
wouldn't be shocked if he didn't have dual citizenship, because like I said, that would give him more protections in there.
Let me Google that too. Go ahead.
All right. You want to get into some